everyone, and welcome back to another episode in our Korok Master Mode Seed Challenge. We've got another 20 seeds to take on today, and the weather is sure to improve as we jump into the challenge. So let's go out and collect another 20 seeds for our collection. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as I bring content to you on a daily basis. And without further ado, let's jump into the Korok seeds. So Korok seed number 101 of our little adventure here starts up this tree. And it's not this tree, the one that we're needing to track it down from, but actually the tree across the way. And the nice thing about these puzzles is that the arrow will always point to the direction that you're needing to go. And this puzzle does move pretty slow. The timer on it's pretty forgiving. So we'll go ahead and reset the counter here as we glide over to the tree in question. And even with one wheel of stamina, you've got more than enough time to make your way all the way to the top of the tree. Now for your viewing pleasure, and so this video doesn't go on forever, a lot of these climbing and other gliding segments we will be speeding up at least to 2.5 or 3 speed. But as we make our way to the top of the tree here, you can see that the timer is just ticking into that second to last bubble, and that allows us to grab the seed from this place. Now, seed number 102 is a magnesis block puzzle, and I came up to the top of the cliffs here because as we make our way up through this canyon, we are needing to avoid a lot of the stronger enemies, including, but not limited to, a Lionel that's down here below. Not that I can't take him on, but I'm a little bit out of practice facing Lionels and would like to avoid that until I absolutely need to. So dropping this magnesis block on the pillar to the left gives us the seed from this location. Seed 103 is behind a bombable wall, but it's not the one on the right here that I first detonate, though this does have a Gerudo scimitar hiding behind it, but rather to the set of rock bombable wall over here on the left. And once you've bombed that out of the way, you've got yet another rock on top of a Korok, so go ahead and lift that up and kindly give the buddy down below a concussion as you move on from this spot. Once we are through there, I climbed up to the top of this tower to get a little easier of a vantage point. Yeah, we're running away from the Talus fight that takes place on top of that pillar. But again, we just really needed to make our way down to this area with the large trees. Now, I'm stopping a little bit earlier because I got my trees mixed up. It's not atop this smaller tree here, but rather atop this larger tree that's just over to the right. So I settled down to get a little bit of a better vantage point. And you can see, as I glance around for the balloon atop this tree, that you have the balloon over there in the distance. So we go ahead and drop down. Now, this was a technique I'm not really familiar with, but if you fast fall and stall out your fall with a bow and arrow and then cancel into a weapon toss, you apparently don't take any fall damage, because I definitely should have taken some damage coming out of that tree. But regardless, we go ahead and shoot the balloon up in the tree to collect the seed from this little buddy here, and that's pretty simple. Now seed number 105 is a little bit further down the way, and if you're not familiar, this is the area where you actually come to find Ganon's giant horse. Maxed out on stats, but doesn't really have any speed at all, so you can saunter around and deal a decent amount of damage to enemies, but you're not going to be galloping around pretty quick or quick at all if you choose to use that horse as one of your mounts. I like using it though, because it's quite a bit of fun. I just don't have the stamina to tame him and take him in right now. But right up from the top of the tree here, there's a tiny little acorn hanging off a chain. As long as you get the shot in there, you'll be able to collect the seed from this spot. Seed number 106 is another Korok magnesis puzzle. And this one, it took me a minute to figure out, but it's basically the exact same puzzle on top and bottom there. You just need to move the block from this little segment to the one to its immediate left. And as soon as you have that magnesis block in the correct location, you might have to finagle with it a little bit, but it should click into the correct spot and give you the triumphant sound that you have indeed completed this puzzle, and thus reward you with the Korok seed from here. Korok seed number 107 is not being guarded by this wandering guardian, but we are going to get away from him as quickly as we can. As soon as we glide down to this bottom part of the plateau, you'll notice that there is a pinwheel on the ground. And this is a balloon puzzle, but it's a unique puzzle from some of the other ones where we've seen that there's not a sequence that they run or zip around in, but rather they pop in and out of their locations. And yes, there is a defined pattern to where they pop around, but you've got more than enough time as long as you're aiming in the general area to loose an arrow at them and collect the shots from there. And as you can see here, it's not incredibly difficult, and we do end up getting all of the shots needed on the first time letting the arrow loose as soon as we figure out what the pattern is. So that gets us this Korok seed here, and we're making pretty good progress. Nothing too terrible going on just yet. Seed number 108 is a rather unique seed in its own right. We're out of the one side of that canyon up to a little bit closer to the Great Plateau, and you've got to climb all the way to the top of this pine tree. And I really do like these puzzles because they're actually hidden in some pretty unique places that, well, where else would you go to find this, really? As you make your way to the top, those fairy lights will appear, and the other wonderful thing is that as you rest at the top of this tree, you do regain your stamina as well. So go ahead and interact with those fairy lights, grab the seed from this spot, and you will be good to go. Now to get to seed 109, we're actually going to start from this exact spot because we're at a great vantage point. So if you hold downwards and then jump, you will actually kick off of the tree, and that will allow you to initiate a glide. You can do the same thing off of walls. It's a really great technique that I enjoy quite a bit. But as we make our way down here, you'll see that there's this little oak log stump, and we just need to destroy the little acorn sitting inside it. Yeah, you could probably shoot it, but I had a melee weapon on hand and wanted to conserve some arrows where possible, so hitting it, we did. Seed number 110 and the rest of the seeds in this video are either going to be around the Lake Hylia, or they're actually going to be on the bridge that goes across it. So this first one is going to be a time trial down here, and I love fast fall canceling that glider. It just gives you a rush and a thrill. But as we make our way across this little rock structure, there's a time trial there at the end. You've got plenty of time, but if you want to conserve time without having some decent swim gear, just jump back and forth between a couple of rocks on there, and you'll be more than fine to get to this Korok and the time trial before it expires and collect the seed from this spot. It's really quite nice. Seed number 111 is nothing too special. It's a rock on a beach, and we're going to go pick it up to grab the seed that is hiding with the Korok beneath it. And, if he wants to play crab, I guess we can help him out with that. So let's go ahead and try and put him back under that that rock. Seed number 112 is another magnesis block puzzle, and this one takes a little bit to find the block, but it's actually not too far away. It's just underneath the waves here. And you could use a hit or a shot from one of your arrows or weapons to pick up that choo-choo, but the magnesis block does just about as well, and it would be a waste of a resource to take out an enemy with just one hit point. So knocking him with the block works just fine, and then sliding the block into the puzzle gives us the seed here. Seed number 113 is where we transition over to a grand assortment of seeds that are all along this bridge that goes across Lake Hylia. And the first one here is on a rock at the base of this shattered pillar. So let's go ahead and lift the rock here and grab the seed from this location. Very nice, thank you very much. And I can't skim this stone, so I'm just going to drop it back on top of your head. I hope that's okay. Seed number 114, you need to start from the top of this bridge, and you'll actually need to make your way around and follow this little flower as it goes down the bridge. I think these puzzles are really quite unique. They can be a little bit time consuming though, so do keep that in mind as you go after the flower. Now, as we get down to the bottom area here, we've just got to be mindful of the little lip. And as soon as we're As I was saying, as soon as we're at that lip, we'll need to very carefully position ourselves in a way where we can slowly climb back down around, and you've got plenty of clearance to make it around this little lip and onto the backside to get that last flower. And this is the last spot you need to grab that from. So that is all you really need to do to get that flower and the Korok seed from this spot. All right, let's climb all the way back up to the top here where the rest of this bridge is. And this seed is located on the fountain in the very center of the bridge. Now, when you initially get here, there are a couple of the Zolfos running around. They're not especially difficult to face as they're not really the stronger enemies. So just climb up to the top of the fountain and interact with the fairy lights. That will grant you the seed from this spot. Seed number 116 is a unique seed that we haven't seen this type of puzzle before. And I don't mean by climbing down the side of the bridge here. Now, what we'll actually need to do is climb down to this little ledge where you'll see that there's the tree branch that's sitting right there on the edge. And as soon as we pick this up, we will be able to collect the seed from this location. The downside here is that it does not just count moving the seed. You actually have, or the stick, you have to pick it up and put it in your inventory. So get rid of whatever tool you don't really care too much about. But you really don't want to hold on to this stick. They're very bad weapons. So sorry if that offends you, but I'm throwing you away. Seed number 117 is best to get to if you start from the top side of the bridge. You'll need to cancel out of the dive animation to make it there as smoothly as possible. But from right here, we'll want to grab the hidden chest that's down below here because it actually contains some shock arrows, which is quite nice. And from here, we'll just need to use a regular arrow to pop the balloon that's directly overhead. Can be a little difficult to get a nice shot on it, but you can eventually get the shot lined up and collect the seed from out of the balloon here. Seed number 118 is on a pillar just next to that last one where we shot the balloon from. I would have shown you the navigation to it, but I got very rudely interrupted by a blood moon sequence. And so it's just a matter of stasising this rock, whacking it a couple of times, and picking up the rock that's hiding underneath it as soon as you have lifted the large, heavy stone. And we're just about done, and these last two are sure to be quite a bit of fun. So let's drop the rock on the Korok and get to it. Now, seed number 119 here is a rock basketball puzzle. We haven't seen one of these since the first episode that we've done here. And you can see there's a lot of rocks strewn about and quite a large margin for error. But believe it or not, in this run, my very first attempt drains the rock right into the little circle that's our target, and we get the seed from here. So we're not going to mess around with it anymore, and go ahead and move to the final seed of today's video. And that final seed is none other than seed 120. And this one, you've got to climb up to the other top of the tower that's at the edge of this gate here, and light yourself an arrow and shoot it across the way to the other set of torches on the other side. And that will complete this puzzle and get you the seed to finish out today's video at the very least. So we've got 120 seeds down, and there's still plenty to go. So if you're enjoying this series, don't forget to leave a like on the video, leave a comment letting me know what you think, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. That subscription is free and easy. Anywho, we will see you in the next episode. So thanks for watching. Take care.